Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story from ancient times that feels incredibly relevant right now. It's about a man named Isaac, and his journey teaches us so much about perseverance, faith, and what it truly means to be blessed. So picture this. There's a severe famine in the land. Things are tough for everyone, but Isaac, guided by God, decides to stay in a place called Gerar instead of heading to Egypt. God promises him, "Stay in this land, and I will be with you and will bless you." And that's exactly what happens. Isaac plants crops, and in that same year, he reaps 100-fold return. The Bible says he became very wealthy, and his fortune continued to grow until he became extremely powerful. He had more flocks, herds, and servants than anyone around. Now, you'd think this would be a time for celebration, right? But here's where human nature kicks in. The local Philistines saw Isaac's success and they weren't happy about it. They became incredibly jealous. They started to cause trouble, going so far as to fill up all the wells that Isaac's father, Abraham, had dug years before. They deliberately filled them with dirt, just to spite him. Can you imagine the frustration? Water was life, and they were trying to cut off his lifeline out of pure envy. It got so bad that Abimelech, the king of Gerar, came to Isaac and said, "Leave us. You have become too powerful for us." So Isaac packed up his things and moved to the valley of Gerar. But he didn't give up. The first thing he did was reopen the old wells his father had dug. He even gave them the same names his father had given them. This was his heritage, his rightful property. But the trouble didn't stop. As Isaac's servants were digging in the valley, they struck a new source of fresh, flowing water. It was a huge discovery, but immediately the local herdsmen came and started arguing, claiming this water is ours. So Isaac, wanting to avoid a big fight, named that well Esek, which means contention because they contended with him. He decided to move on and dig another well. Guess what happened? They found water again, and again, the locals came and quarreled over it. So, Isaac named that well Sitnah, which means enmity or opposition. Twice, he found success, and twice, it was stolen from him by jealousy and conflict. At this point, many of us would have been tempted to fight back, to despair, or to just quit altogether. What's the point of working so hard if someone is always there to tear you down? But Isaac's response is the core of our story. He didn't retaliate. He didn't curse his enemies. He simply moved on again. He dug a third well, and this time, finally, no one quarreled over it. There was peace. Isaac named this well Rehoboth, saying, "For now the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land." He recognized that it was God who had finally given him a wide open space, a place to thrive without conflict. He persevered through the contention and the enmity, and he finally found his place of peace and prosperity. The story doesn't end there. Later, the same king Abimelech who had kicked him out came to visit Isaac, along with his advisor and the commander of his army. Isaac understandably was a little suspicious. He asked, "Why have you come to me, since you were so hostile to me and sent me away?" And their answer is incredible. Abimelech says, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you. So we said, there ought to be a sworn agreement between us." They wanted to make a treaty of peace with him. The very people who drove him away out of jealousy now saw his blessings so clearly that they realized God was on his side. They could no longer deny it. Isaac's consistent success and his peaceful response to their aggression had completely changed their hearts. They went from enemies to allies. Isaac's journey shows us that sometimes the path to success is filled with opposition. People might get jealous. They might try to block your progress, to fill your wells with dirt. But if we keep our faith, stay focused, and refuse to give up, our perseverance will eventually pay off. Sometimes the best response to conflict isn't to fight back, but to move on and dig another well. Eventually, you will find your Rehoboth, your wide open space where you can be fruitful. And your success, blessed by a higher power, will speak for itself, even turning enemies into friends. Thanks so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, Hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video.